Hey everyone, my name is Alchestbreach, and this is my life. I was born to a family of wild raccoons in the lower district of Columbia. Just kidding. Maybe. Jameson. My family consists of my mom, my dad, my stepsister, which is just my sister because I was a baby, and my grandparents, Nanny and Papa. My mom and dad had to save money for a house when I was little, so we lived in Nanny and Papa's basement. It was a nice basement with carpets and indoor plumbing though, so it wasn't like a dungeon or anything. My dad's a postal worker, and he also used to record people's weddings too. Whenever we would go on vacation, he would tape everything, and I always wanted to use the camera. Nanny and Papa were awesome. I would always watch The Price is Right with Nanny in the morning, and Papa would always read me dinosaur books at night. I loved dinosaurs, and I had a ton of dinosaur toys and figurines that I still have to this day. Harvey! I call them the Dino Rangers. They were always defending the world from something or other, like other dinosaurs, mainly. My dad was always handy, and one summer he built a miniature town for me to play with. Every night we would pick a toy car, and then we would drive around the town and cause mayhem. It was basically GTA with toys. I don't remember the first time I played a video game, but my parents told me that they handed me an NES controller while Mario was on, and from then on, I never stopped. Every weekend I'd go to a local rental store and rent a video game. It's hard to imagine now maybe, but each weekend was like a little surprise. You never knew what you were going to get. One of my fondest games that I remember when I was little is Desert Strike. It was for Super Nintendo, and you played as a helicopter pilot. I used to play it constantly, and it was one of the first games I mastered. 2 houses away from me was my best friend Dave. I'd met him when I was a baby. Every day I'd run over to his house, and we would do whatever the f*** we wanted. Dave had Sega Genesis, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo. It was pretty awesome. Dave and I also played Dino Rangers too. We had tons of adventures, and we always kicked some sweet, sweet ass. Dave also taught me about other stuff, like mailing letters. One time before I had learned how to read or write, we both wrote letters. I don't know how we did that, but we did, and then we went around town and put them in all the mailboxes. We would also do some weird, mildly annoying things too. One of them was going on top of Dave's family van with a bag of potato chips. Then when cars would come by, we'd throw them at them. Other times we'd put our shoes in the road at night, and then we'd hide across the street in the bushes. We'd wait until cars drove by and hoped our shoes got ran over. It was really exciting for some reason, because we were douchebags. Dave and I were basically little assholes. Another game Dave and I played was Shoe Ball. Actually, it didn't have a name, but I'm just going to call it Shoe Ball. Basically, we'd put our shoes at the bottom of a staircase, and then we dropped bouncy balls down them, and if we got them in our shoes, we won. I once also put a vacuum sucker on my dick. I don't remember much about kindergarten, except that my brother Connor was born at this time. He's not a baby anymore, though. He grew out of that phase. I was super excited to have a baby brother, and so it was my mission to teach him about the world. I once sat Connor down and I told him about curse words. I said he shouldn't say any of them because they were bad. But to clarify which words were bad, I listed every single one for him. After kindergarten, my dad had saved enough money to buy a house, or get a loan or something. Look, I don't f***ing know how houses work. My elementary school years were probably my favorite. I was friends with everyone, and my mom had to keep track of who I was going to hang out with. One time, I hung out with one of the cool kids, though, and so I wanted to impress him. We hung out in the backyard on my tire swing, and I basically just said curses and told people to go f*** themselves for like 3 hours. Then, when my dad came home, I decided to do something extra badass. I threw a f***ing stick at my dad's car. He got really angry and yelled at me because I was a little douchebag. The cool kid thought I was super cool though, and he told everyone else how f***ing rad I was for throwing sticks at my dad's car like a little douchebag. F***ing badass. I still hung out with Dave when we were free during this time. I once went over his house and he was playing a game called Command & Conquer Red Alert. He said you could download new buildings and vehicles and make the game different. This was my first introduction to modding, and I fell in love with it immediately. I started to make my own simple mods by editing the game files. My favorite and first one was a playable Albert Einstein. He'd shoot an unlimited number of missiles out of his face. He also had infinite health. He was a death machine with style. Dave also introduced me to ZZT. ZZT was a simple game, but you could make your own if you knew the programming language. Dave taught me a few simple commands, and I learned the rest over a few months. One night we had a sleepover. We spent the whole night up programming our very own game. I played it a few months ago for Miscellaneous Monday. It was called The Secret Agent Chronicles. Or SAC. Ballsack. Around 4th grade, there was a new kid that moved to our school. His name was Kevin, and he was the first person I met that was equally as weird as me. We'd always draw giant stick figure battles in our notebooks, and would also draw comics too. For New Year's Eve of 1999, I slept over Kevin's house. I remember bringing a pocket knife in case the power went out and I had to start killing people for food. Fortunately, Y2K wasn't a real thing, so I just celebrated with Kevin by playing Age of Empires all night long. Take that, Apocalypse. When middle school came, it was kinda sucky. Our town was so big that it separated this age group into 2 different schools. Kevin lived closer to the other school, so we had to go there. After elementary school, we stopped hanging out, so I didn't have anyone insane to draw stuff or be weird with. I kinda stopped drawing around this time. Dave also moved to a new house in a faraway town. Because of this, it took around 45 minutes to get to his new house, and my parents usually didn't have time to make 4 45-minute trips just so I could chill with Dave and throw potato chips at cars. So, we also kinda stopped hanging out. It was pretty sucky. In 8th grade, I wrote a rap song during one of my free classes. The kid I sat next to in science later on, Lewis, saw it one day, and he screamed at the class that I'd written a rap. Everyone cheered me on to read it, and so I reluctantly rapped in front of the entire class. It was about a man that skied down a hill and caused an avalanche or something. It was really weird. The class loved it though, and I wrote a few more raps that year and performed them. It was pretty awesome, and the first time I'd performed in front of an audience. Things were pretty good, but our family computer was getting fairly old and couldn't really run any new games. One day I came home from school to find my dad playing on a brand new computer he'd bought. It was perfect. My jump into PC gaming had begun once more. I'd spent hours playing Red Alert 2, SimCity 3000, and Battlefield 1942 while listening to the radio. In high school, I started to hang out with the people that would eventually become my real-life friends. Matt, Nikolai, Captain Apathy, Andrew, the huge. During my second year in high school, I got a video camera for my birthday. I started filming random stuff, but never really put anything together because my once brand new computer from middle school couldn't handle editing video. 2 years later, for senior year, I bought a new computer with my own money and started editing videos. One night, I filmed all my friends acting their usual selves. I then edited it into a 10-minute cop-style fake documentary. I uploaded to a now defunct video site. This was before YouTube, so it was kinda sketchy. Some kids in my graduating class found it though, and they started passing it around school. People loved it, and they wanted a sequel. We made a few more movies senior year, but none of them were as popular as the first Cops. I loved making movies, and decided that that's what I'd go to college for. Kind of. I ended up going to a college that was a few hours away from home. I decided to major in film and 3D graphics. It was the first time I was going to be away from everything I knew for a long time, but I was still excited. Plus, a few of my friends from home were going to go to the same school, so it was pretty cool. My first year at college, I met a ton of awesome people. I wasted no time with my new friends, as I put them in my short films and started making whatever came to mind. I'd started a channel called Bill TCM for posting all my shorts online during the summer before. Just a warning, my face is there. We did videos for Halloween, Christmas, and even St. Patrick's Day. The next few years I learned about filmmaking, working in 3D programs like Maya and 3ds Max, and a ton of other cool stuff. Every year I'd put more and more videos onto Bill TCM. Not many people watched them, but I had a ton of fun making them with my friends. Sometime during my junior year, I found the YouTuber SSOHPKC. That's a mouthful. He played Mario hacks and a ton of other games. I'd usually get lunch or dinner and go back to my dorm and watch him play. At the time, my computer, which was from senior year of high school, could handle editing, but not much else, including gaming. Any new games I'd play were only on my 360, and I was too broke to get a new computer. When Fallout 3 came out, I didn't even get it right away. It wasn't until a friend told me about it, probably a year later, that I actually bought it. I don't remember the first time I played Fallout 3, but I do remember I beat it over and over again. I was in love. When my 4 years of college were done, I'd met a ton of awesome people and had some great skills too. But now, I had to leave the Matrix and enter the real world. Morpheus! My major didn't require an internship, so I hadn't done anything outside of school related to film. Over the summer, after graduation, I did an internship in New Moon City. I was the only intern without a laptop because I still had no money, so I usually just had to get coffee or order lunch. It was pretty shitty. After my internship, I was fully prepared to attack the world with my brand new lunch and coffee ordering skills. Luckily, I soon got a job as a photographer's assistant though. Things seemed pretty good. A few months after I got the job, I'd saved enough money to buy a new computer. Now, quick side note here. I also worked as a custodian each summer for a local school. Summer I did the internship, I also worked at the school when I was off for my internship. My one friend that I worked with told me about Fallout mods and Nexus. Every day I'd go home and I would just look at all the mods and I'd be like, what? A vertebrate house, brand new guns, quests, a robot companion? Are you kidding me? I needed to get a new computer. I wanted to try all of these awesome mods out. When I got my new computer, I installed every mod I'd been looking at over the past few months. Games I was never able to play because of my older computer were now available. It felt like the old days of playing SimCity in my room. After a few months of working as a photographer's assistant, I began to kind of hate it. My boss wasn't really the nicest person, and I didn't enjoy doing what I did whatsoever. Around November, I was told that they didn't need me anymore, and so I packed my bowling bags and left. After this, my job search began. But after searching for hours, I'd usually have a lot of free time left. It was then I was reminded of SSOHPKC and his videos. I had a new computer, and I played Fallout all the time, and loved just trying out new mods. Why not start a channel that reviewed Fallout mods? Since I was playing it non-stop, I might as well do something with it. On November 27th, 2010, I uploaded my very first video on Alchestbreach, New Vegas Bounties. Over the next few months, more and more people started watching. I was super surprised that people were enjoying the videos, and that they kept coming back for more. A few months after I left my original job, I was hired at the Box Factory. It was pretty awesome. I never thought that this channel would get as big as it is now, and even today, I can't comprehend how lucky I am. When I started, this was just something I did on the side to let off some steam. Now, it's something that connects me to people all over the world in ways that I never imagined. I want to thank you all for watching my content, and for being kind and laughing along with my shenanigans. You've made my world a little bit brighter, and I hope I've done the same for you. Thanks for everything. You guys and gals mean the world to me, and I can't say thank you enough for being fans, friends, and fantastic. I love you all. You're all my little special babies. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the future. Away!